Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think you said you wanted me to introduce myself. Is that what you asked me?
Yeah. That's what I said. Please introduce yourself. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Um, yeah, my name's Alecia, and I'm a believer
Mm,
and follower of Jesus Christ,
mm,
and I'm a
mm.
teacher. I teach second grade, and yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's really cool. I know Alicia to be an exciting believer that is filled with joy. I've been following your page. I've seen some of your music video. When did you encounter Jesus Christ?
When did I encounter him? I was raised
Yeah.
up to believe in God. I would say that I got my own faith when I was about um maybe four. Well, I became more interested in God at about the age of 14. But yeah,
Mm,
so I at around the age of 18, I started to pursue God, where I wanted
mm,
to learn how to live for Him.
mm,
I wanted to learn what that meant and what that looked like. And so yeah, I'll say about the age of 18 is when I started to have my own encounter. I was aware that this was God that was communicating with me and allowing me to experience Him. If that answers your question.
uh, um, Leading up to the time where you found yourself in the hospital, what were you, what's it called, experiencing? What was the condition?
Say it again.
Now, I heard your testimony where you shared like an encounter you had while in the hospital after you prayed and the doctors responding. And I just wanted to know what was happening to you there. What were you experiencing? Why were you in the hospital there?
Why was I in the hospital?
Yeah.
Well, I had started to feel like I started to feel real sleepy a lot. And at first I
Mm,
didn't think nothing of it. I just would take naps. But then like after a couple of days I found myself taking longer and longer naps
mhm,
and feeling weak as I would try to like walk. And I was young. That happened years ago. I was young and so I was active and so that was different for me. Um and I waited a while before I actually went into emergency room because I had got up to try to go get and, and I felt I didn't even take a few steps and I felt like my heart was racing and it was really difficult for me to breathe. It felt like I had been out of breath, like I had done like this extensive workout and I knew something was
mhm,
wrong. And I went into the
mhm,
emergency room and they admitted me and the doctor I actually had to be driven to the hospital by the ambulance
mm,
and
mm,
so when I got there they did tests and stuff and they were running tests for hours and the doctors kept
mm,
coming in. They said we don't, it's not this, it's not that, and we don't know what it is, but we can see that something's wrong. And so
mhm,
that went on for that entire day and they admitted me to the hospital. um, they had put hooked
mhm,
me up to some hooked me up to like a, I forget what that's called, but like an IV, because I was getting dehydrated and stuff like that. And
mhm,
they kept running tests, but I kept feeling like I like in my mind I was healthy and I was okay, but my
mhm,
body, I felt like
mhm,
my body was turning on me. Like I felt like my
mhm,
body was turning against me, like because in my head it was all normal, and I'm like, why aren't you
mhm,
working properly, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I remember I was married at the time, and I have kids, and I remember the second day they came in, they said, we don't know what it is. And I was
Mm-hmm.
declining, but they didn't know why. And at first I got a little, I don't think I got scared. I just got like, oh wow, I could possibly, go to sleep and, God forbid, not wake up, because that's what was, I was
Mm-hmm.
sleeping for a long time. And so I had called my who was my husband then. I had called him on the phone, and I remember telling him, this was after I had talked to God, and I said, God, I don't know what it is. They don't know what it is, but you know what it is. And if you want them to know, you have the power to reveal it to them. So reveal it to them, God. Let them know. I want to, be here to raise these children that you have blessed me with, and also have given me the responsibility to raise. And so I'm talking to God, and I thought about the three Hebrew boys, how when they were
Mm-hmm.
when they were thrown into the furnace, they said, our God will rescue us, but even if he doesn't, we know that he's able. And so when I thought of, that came to my mind as I was laying in that bed facing the wall talking to God, and a peace came over me. I said, God, I know that you know what it is, but whatever your will is, it's the perfect will. God, I trust you, whatever it is. And a peace came over me, and I called who was my husband at the time. I called him and I said, you know, I don't know what's going on with my body. The doctors don't know what's going on with my body. And I said, just make sure that you raise our children to follow God, to believe in God. And he was like, don't talk like that, he,
Mm-hmm.
he said, man, don't talk like that. But I had really, that was where my mindset
Yeah.
was at, because my body it wasn't acting right. And
Mm-hmm.
I had came to peace with God that whatever his will was gonna be, that's what it was gonna be. And the third day, the third day,
Mm-hmm.
something about that number three, the doctors came
Yeah.
in. They came in. They said, you know what? We figured out what it is. We're gonna flush your body with antibiotics. They had to run antibiotics through my entire body to kill off all the bacteria that was like, it was like spreading through my bloodstream or something.
Mm-hmm.
And but the thing is, my blood tests were coming back normal, even though that's why I said,
Wow.
God, you know, experiencing God, he puts us in situations where we're weak so that he can show that he's strong.
Mm.
Because
Yes, it's true.
not yeah, not every attack on the not every attack on the body or affliction on the
Mm.
body is from the devil. Sometimes God will
Mm-hmm.
allow things, he'll allow us to get into a place where we can't call on nobody but him, so that he can show us
Mm-hmm.
his power, so that he can show
Mm-hmm.
us, that in our weakness he's made strong. And that was something else. I had to learn how to walk again,
Yes.
because I was laying down for so long. Even though 3 days doesn't seem long, but when you just try laying down just for 3 days, not getting up, you get up. I was kind of wobbly,
Mm.
like, and I was scared to kind of wobble, because I didn't want them to tell me, well, you can't go home yet. We got to make sure that, I just wanted to go home. I did. I just wanted to go home. And yeah, and the third day they came in there, and they found out what it was. And I went home the next day.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
okay. After the third day, you went home. After the third day, you went home,
yeah,
right?
after. I believe so, after.
Yeah. It's quite interesting. Yeah, yeah. It's quite interesting because Jesus Christ came back to life after 3 days in the grave. So that was your own form of resurrection you experienced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, God
Yeah.
is real.
So glad
God
to
is
know
good.
that.
God is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's great. It's great. Now, the interesting thing about your testimony, because it's one of trust, and as you said, remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego when they were faced with a difficult situation. And there's a statement in 1 John chapter 5, verse 14, said, "This is the confidence that we have in Him.
Yes.
When we ask anything here, consistent with His will, He hears us." And your testimony showed that God answers prayers.
He does. He does.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
how has that? Yeah. How has that experience affected your relationship with God?
How is that experience?
How?
Just builds,
Okay.
because that God has done many things in my life. That right there, you know, that happened years ago, but God has done recent things. And I would say that up until now, you know, with the age that I am now and all that I've experienced with God so far, every time I experience God, it just strengthens my trust and my confidence in Him. You know, that's what it does to me. It helps me to trust His word more, to trust His, you know, to let man be a lie and let Him be true. You know, it makes the word even more real to me when I experience God. It increases my faith as I experience God.
Wow, that's really nice. And you know, who would have thought that God has reserved good in that situation that seemed evil? For your relationship with God has improved. He has drawn you closer to Himself by that situation. Yeah, I really appreciate the Lord for you. I really appreciate the Lord for you.
Thank you.
So before then, you're welcome. Have you experienced like something similar before God's intervention in like manner? Before that experience in the hospital, have you experienced God's deliverance in like manner?
Before that experience in the hospital,
Yeah,
have
before
I
that,
experienced God in other ways?
like, yeah, in that manner, like healing of the sick, like have you experienced healing from the Lord before them? I'm trying to find out what inspired your faith, that faith in you in that situation.
Oh, what inspired my faith? What inspired me to take a chance and trust God with that? Choice. Choice. You know, like I said, I grew up being taught about God, and even when I was married, I had a lot of things going on in my marriage that I had to trust God for. And that built up, you know, my confidence in God. Him answering prayers, that built up my confidence in God. Me seeing other people, hearing other people's testimonies, witnessing God, you know, move in their lives, that built up my trust in God. To even get to that point where I would even have the audacity to ask Him such a thing. You know, He said to acknowledge Him in all thy ways and He will direct our paths. And so it's just it's choice. We gotta choose God. You know, we gotta choose Him. He said, I lay before you blessings and curses. Choose blessings. So it's a choice. And as we choose Him, and the more we choose Him, the more He'll reveal to us, the more He'll show us Himself. Because He said, don't give my pearls to the swine. Don't ask me anything wavery. So it's choice.
That's really nice. I'm glad you made the right decision, a decision to trust the Lord. And by that experience, you can start faith in us. Sorry about that network. issues. From your story, I think others have been inspired to believe the Lord. And you know, when we read the Bible, it's easy for us to just see stories written, but it becomes more powerful when the words in scripture is not living in a human vessel. When someone is sharing the same testimony, it's like a witness that the word of the Lord is true. So that's what your testimony has done to me and to all who has and will hear this testimony. Thank you very much, Alecia.
Amen. You're welcome.
For sharing. Thank you. One more question, please.
Okay.
Has this influenced your music?
Say it again.
Has that experience, has the experience influenced your music?
I mean, life influences my music because I, you know, living in this world and experiencing, you know, different things and people. Really, to be honest, before I even write a song, I'll ask God for the lyrics. I find a beat and I say, God, I say, Holy Spirit, write these lyrics through me, because you know what your people need to hear. I'm just a willing vessel.
Wow. Yeah. Have you been a Christian rapper or true? Like
I sing and rap and write. Have I always done it? Is that what your question is?
Like, have you ever always expressed your faith through your music?
I've written other songs before, but as far as recording, I recorded one song that wasn't a faith-based song, and that was when I was probably about I don't know how old I was. I was really young, and but I didn't like put it out or anything because I felt guilty. And then, you know, when God starts expecting that holiness from you, you know, it's like he got to purge us. And so he said, nah, we can't have that. Don't let your good be spoken evil of. But as far as like putting out music, I put out faith-based music.
Yeah, that's really beautiful to see. I see the joy expressed in your music. Hearing your testimony, I knew that you've had a sure encounter with him. It was an interesting conversation with you, Alecia.
Say it again.
I said it has been an interesting conversation with you, Alecia.
Oh. Thank you. I appreciate you.